Yes, sorry, I'm ready. Sorry. like,
Okay,
I
good.
was just checking my schedule and like trying to make sure that like everything was going good. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're ready because hello, and welcome to the Drag Race. We're gonna leave it in. I don't care. That's the best way to
I
start.
fell right out of the chair.
Oh my gosh. Hello and welcome to the Drag Race recap here on Reality TV RHAPups. You heard his voice. We have been missing him so much. Aman Adwin is back with us today. We're going to be discussing episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 15. So let me bring in the man whose voice you just heard. He is here. He is with us. It is Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I'm good.
He's ready.
He's ready. He says he's ready.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. Yeah, I have been gone for a couple of weeks, but I'm good and I'm ready and yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Perfect. And with us is the wonderful Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk about this final 4 and whew, what a season to think that we've gotten here to the top 4 we thought would be here.
Oh my gosh, the top 4 we'd been predicting for a very long time. Yes. Well, it is a top 4 that we discussed last week. We thought maybe it could go down to a top 3. Honestly, I'm not surprised at all whatsoever that we are sitting here with this top 4. It has been foretold by the producers from like several episodes ago, but this was our last sort of regular episode. Next week, we're going to have the reunion. And then after that, we're going to have the finale. Just a quick programming note before we get started. We are going to record a podcast for the reunion and the finale, but it's going to be combined into one. So next week, we are not going to be releasing a podcast. We're going to be releasing one the week after, which will contain our opinions and thoughts from the reunion as well as the finale. We just feel like there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about potentially with the finale. It's usually a lot of fluff. So we're going to put that all together, one big supersized episode to close out this season. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and talk about what we have to discuss today, which is a music video of supersized proportions. We are going to outer space. We have the Tic Tac chat. We have the talking to younger you. So much content in this episode. Aman, how did you feel about all of this?
Yeah, I always enjoy these episodes, like right before the finale, and we get to really dive deep into the reasons and the experiences that have led the contestants to Drag Race and hear all of the stories of what it was like for them as kids and like what their family life is like and what their home life is like and how things are for them now and what this competition would mean to them. I mean, I'm a Pisces, so I'm like naturally like, like introspective and like all about the soap opera stuff. So I enjoy these. Was the Tic Tac challenge or the Tic Tac chat always a challenge?
Oh no, Beth and I. Okay, so this is
you meant okay. That was okay.
No. Okay, so there's a little bit of a callback to our pre-podcast chat. So to bring the listeners into all of this, Beth and I were joking that we feel this could be a march to the end for Sasha Colby in terms of her win. We've been talking about this all season, but to me especially, this was the episode that just completely drove it home that Sasha Colby is absolutely winning this season. Yes. And we joked that she won the Tic Tac chat, the Tic Tac lunch.
Got it.
Because
I'm slow.
Yeah. Look,
no, you were looking at your schedule. It's fine, Aman. No, we were saying that we were like, okay, so she won the Tic Tac chat, she won the music video, she arguably won the runway, she won the talking to your child self. So I had joked beforehand that she had Lucy's record of mini and maxi challenges in one episode.
Yes.
But that's where we were at with it.
Well, Beth, where do you come down on this episode?
I think it was great. I agree with Aman that I really love these episodes. It tends to be a celebration of these final 4 queens, and I really enjoy that. And I know that even the 3 of us have, especially the 3 of us, have sometimes pretty split hair kind of critiques where we're really trying to find something to find an issue with the queens or what they're presenting. And I always like that these episodes kind of steer us away from that and are really much more about embracing what makes each and every individual who is on that stage unique and powerful, beautiful, and all these wonderful things. So I tend to love everything about it. I love hearing about their story and opening it up to Rue and Michelle during a Tic Tac lunch. I love when they get to talk to their younger selves, even though I know that it sounds like it's kind of like every year they're going to cry and that kind of thing. It still always touches me every single year. And so, no, I love these episodes a lot.
Yeah. It gets me too. I can't help it. So, okay, so I got this new workout machine. It's a stepper thing where you just like step up and down. Anyway, that's not important, but the important part is that I was on my stepper watching the finale on Friday, just being like, oh my God, so I'm like crying, yeah, exactly.
Oh my
God. Exactly, crying through it all. Every single season without fail always makes me cry. I can't help it. Similar to Aman, also Pisces. Like I'm just in with the vibes. So it just, it always gets me. I know it's so corny, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily appreciate it, but I can't help it. I do. Me and my stepper, we just love it so much.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize you both are Pisces. Wow.
Yeah.
February, March, baby.
Yes.
Listen, I love a Pisces. I love an introspective moment. I live outside. That's where I'm at as a Leo. I'm like push it in your face kind of thing.
But I'm a Leo moon though, so there's that.
Oh, same. What's up?
Well, hey.
All right. What brings us together? Have we ever had oh yeah, we did have a Zodiac challenge or a Zodiac runway, and I feel like all the queens did like the same thing, and I remember
it was a sad. I want them that should be redone.
That really should. We need it to be better. Anyway, okay, so the main challenge, let's just jump right on into this. It is what we've seen similarly in previous seasons where the queens have to write and record their own sassy verses to a RuPaul song. This season, they chose Blame It on the Edit, which I thought was an interesting choice. Because, so, obviously Blame It on the Edit is the result of queens coming off of Drag Race and saying, like, I'm blaming it on the edit, right? And Rue is essentially being like, well, you said it. So,
blame it on the edit.
So that was funny that I think that they chose that. And then they had to record a music video, which this has changed a little bit over the different seasons. We sometimes have them do a live performance. Here we're doing a music video, which, Beth, what did you think about that choice?
I always like when they do a music video. I also have to say, like, as a side note, girls, were we really, really shocked that you were just going to learn the choreography and immediately film it when you're in full drag?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's why I was like, they keep saying it's a rehearsal, but they're in full drag.
In full geesh.
Yeah, exactly. What is happening?
I was like, okay, so you know that this is like when they go, okay, and now we're going to film it. Like they did that. They've done that multiple times. I don't know why this was so shocking to them. Unless they were like, okay, we're going to tell you that we're going to shoot it. We need you all to look like you're shitting your pants. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I always like a music video. I like when they can edit things together, especially when you have a top four that's really strong, that they can kind of pick and choose the things that they really want to, which ironically, blame that on the edit. Like, well, how did they edit this? What things did they choose to put in and out?
Okay, I'm so happy you bring that up because literally I think Michelle says something. Hold on, wait, let me find the quote. I wrote it down. Yes, you have to bring it each time because you never know what take they're going to use. I was like, doesn't that directly contradict what the whole point of the song is, which is that like you can't blame it on the edit because like it is what it is, but then you're saying you never know what take they're going to use. They can make you look good. They can make you look bad. Depending on the edit, I just don't.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah, I was like, why would you include that? Like,
I really wish someone would have called her out on that. That would have been
hilarious. I hope somebody does at the reunion. I hope it'd be so good.
Yeah, it was like, okay, all right, fine. Well, the whole theme of this video, which I thought was really fun, didn't necessarily fit with the song per se, but I wasn't mad at it, was sort of this like space girl realness. which I did hear emphasize. I think it was, so Miguel Zarate was who they were working for all the choreo and stuff. And he said it is sci-fi hood girl realness, but keeping it in outer space. Which I was actually surprised they didn't bring up so much in the critiques, because I feel like if you're going to go for full space realness, there are some queens that maybe looked a little bit more spacey than others. Sasha Colby, I think, especially in her close-up shots with the contacts, very spacey. I got that vibe from her for sure. So that was sort of the whole thing that we're working with. Of course, also the tic-tac chit-chat, and then the fake out of the top 3.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, the song choice, Blame It on the Edit, and how like all of the women, the girls in the in their DRs are talking about, yeah, this song is like a shady song. Like it felt as if like RuPaul was trying to like indoctrinate these girls onto his side of view, even though it's like, now when you get off the show and then you start talking about how, well, they didn't show this, that, the third, like, are you gonna be as team Blame It on the Edit then? Like, so it really felt as if like Ru was like trying to be like, okay, like from season 15 onwards, like no one can blame it on the edit anymore. And it's like, okay, I don't think that's gonna work, but okay.
I also think it's especially shady coming after the last 2 eliminations where the queens have absolute, which obviously they didn't know that, but I also think that they probably had a hunch that both Selena and Lucy would be like, well, there's things that they didn't show, or there's this context, or this was edited incorrectly, or whatever. And I just think it's really interesting that this comes, it almost feels like a direct slap in the face, even though it's probably not.
Well, it's funny because I don't even necessarily, I mean, yes, there was some blame it on the edit, but if you look at Selena, for example, hers was just like, my critique is Ross sucks. There was no blame it on the edit. It was just like, what do you know about fashion? Go back to Palm Springs. So, yeah, very, very funny. And yeah, I totally see what Mon is saying, that it definitely felt like a little bit of a cult leader indoctrination kind of thing of like, remember,
blame it on the edit and you love yourself. Because if you can't love yourself, then no.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't love the edit. How in the hell you gonna love yourself? Can I get an here?
Okay. That should be the added line. If you can't love your edit, how in the hell are you gonna love yourself? And then how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Like it just turns into like a Russian nesting doll.
Of RuPaul saying.
Of RuPaulism.
Yeah.
And then I'm your mother now. There we go.
I mean, that's essentially what Ru's book is, right?
I'm your mama now.
Well, they filmed this entire video in 24 hours. The one part that I think we missed out on was the singing, the recording of the tracks part of it. I'm going to trust the editors, not blaming it on the edit at all, that there was nothing interesting to show there, or I don't know, because we didn't get to see any of that. It didn't feel like you really missed out. It just was something that I noted about the episode.
Yeah.
Let's go queen by queen, if that's okay with y'all. And we will go through anything that you want to say about them. We'll just sort of go in order of what we see, starting with, I don't know, who do you want to start with, actually? Because I was like, I have them in order.
We go in order of the verses, so Anitra, and then...
Okay, perfect. Anitra is first. So, we can talk about the Tic-Tac lunch, talk about her performance, her look. I'm pulling them up right now. Aman, where do you want to start with Anitra?
Let's start with the performance.
Okay, so Anitra, we see her struggle a little bit with some of the choreo. We know that she is a voguing the house down type of queen, maybe not necessarily the best for choreo, but I mean, compared to Mistress, it looked like she was doing fine. She picked up fine.
I mean, it was clear when it was just her and Lux in a frame that you were like, oh, okay. But when it was the context of all 4 of them, she looked fine. And maybe it was because of Mistress. But I also do think that really what it was like the ever so slightly off the beat and like just her face kind of like betrayed her.
Looked a little lost. I could see that.
But I think that's my number one critique with her just in general, is that if she can learn how to control the fierceness of her face and her eyes and such, and not let that give her away, I think that she goes absolute next level.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like she always says like during these kind of performances, like I'm more of a boom type of dancer, and choreography doesn't really I don't really absorb it that well. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you can do all of those interesting things with your body, yes, like picking up on someone else's moves might not be like your first inclination, but you still have such like a you just have so much skill with how to use your body. So I feel like she plays herself short whenever she starts off the bat saying that. I feel like if you were to just approach this and like try to like translate it to your boom energy, I feel like she would do much better. So, and not to say that she didn't do horrible at all. So,
Yeah.
and probably not as maybe she didn't pick it up as fast as Lux and Sasha, but she still looked amazing. So I think she should give herself more credit.
I think so too. I think she's just once if she loses that confidence, you can definitely see it in her face. Even though the choreo was fine. I mean, and even if it's not exact, who cares? It's what exactly they told Mistress. That was, who cares if it's not exactly right? Just have that confidence. Don't have that deer in the headlights look, and just move. Just go for it. Well, the editors will take care of it. Okay.
Yeah. Listen.
Don't blame it on the edit.
As long as you're good to production, production's good to you. So
yeah, just tell them they're doing a great job. Okay. So I'm looking at her lyrics as well to go through that a little bit. I remember, I mean, her lyrics, so she's got stomping on roaches, walking these ducks. So her callback to her first episode, which has sort of become her trademark thing throughout this whole season. Totally get that. Love that for her. But it doesn't really like say all that much. It's really just about her being a dancing queen, because the rest of the lyrics are make my way on the runway, Anitra about to pump, I twist, I whip, I dip, hair flip, smash that eye, gloss that lip, a total 10. So cute.
Yeah. So like,
I'll be honest.
Standard little talk my shit lyric.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I wasn't overly impressed with the lyrics. I liked that it was a slow rap, and I love like the sultry voice that she used with it. Like I thought that was great, but I just kind of in general was like, I think you could be bitchier. I think in general, not a lot of the girls went for the route of like either like, I don't know, being shady for people who blame the edit as like a bitch track kind of thing, which I got the sense that that's kind of what it was supposed to be. I always think it's weird when they're like, all right, I'm going to make this verse about me, even though the song has nothing to do with like individual. I don't know. That's not their fault really at the end of the day, but I just kind of felt like in general, I was like, she could be bitchier. I'm here for it. I would love to see a little shadier Anitra. We haven't seen that.
I think Lux is really the only one to me that had any sort of bitchiness in her lyrics.
Agreed.
We'll talk about her in a sec.
Yeah.
Let me pull up Anitra's runway look, because so by the way, the runway category I believe is just like drag excellence. Yes, drag excellence. Oh my God, when she said she made this, I mean, I know she makes a lot of her looks, which also explains the whole bodysuit thing. But when she said she made this, I was just like, what? It's so gorgeous. The hair also is so cool. I love everything about this look.
Yeah, she definitely elevated and like stuck the landing here, because some of the runways for Anitra were starting to become just a little stale. Kind of was given like just a bodysuit with things attached to it. So when she came around the corner with this, I was like, okay, finally, a little bit more glamour, a little bit more edge, but still signature Anitra. Everything is so when I think of Anitra, I just think angular. Just everything is just always angular, and I think that this is just such a encapsulation of all of her looks this season. So I think it was definitely she hit the nail on the head with this one.
I 1,000% agree. She rounded the corner, and I was like, if she had given every runway this level of attention, I really think that she'd be like in contention against Sasha. Like I really would see her as the final two, and I still kind of do, to be quite frank with you all. But she just looks so gorgeous. Just 10 out of 10. Just incredible.
Grand High Empress herself, I believe, is how Anitra described this. And I could not agree more. What was also interesting, because I don't think we had, let me restart. We had gotten a lot of personal moments from Anitra, but I didn't think that we heard that she grew up Mormon. That was something that we learned in her TikTok chat, which was so funny. Rue's reaction, Mormon?
That was so funny to me. Like the fact that RuPaul was like, there are Mormons on my show? Like what?
A Mormon?
It's like, doesn't he say he watches all of the audition tapes?
Yeah.
And that never came up in her audition tape?
Well, here's the thing. It probably did, but RuPaul does not have what we call a memory.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't remember Jinx's name to
This one right here.
This one right here. That video never fails to make me laugh. Oh, it's
man.
so good because the look on everyone else's face too is they're like waiting for Ru to figure out if she's gonna say her name.
and then she goes, "What's your name?" It's even
Jinx.
better knowing this is after she's crowned Jinx for a second time.
Oh, it's so good.
Paul, we love you.
Okay. All right. So that's Anitra, and we'll talk about the judging and the lip sync, obviously, once we get through all the queens. So we'll put a pause on Anitra for now. We will be talking about her later. Let's move on over to Lux. So Lux pretty much immediately picks up all the choreo. And as I mentioned, I think she had probably one of my favorite verses, if not my favorite verse of the whole thing. So just some of her lyrics are, let's see, let me pull up my fit. Yes. So I love, you already know, all eyes on me, ate these bitches, left no crumbs. Did it in designer pumps. So when they ask about Lux, let them know that she's the one. I loved that. I thought that that was really cute and at least gave a little bit more of the bitchiness. I think her delivery too really sold it for me.
Yeah, I like the musicality with it. I think she was the only one that sang and she sounded good. And I mean, she wrote the verse pretty quickly too and then went to sleep. Which is
did her
kind of a serve.
Her best Tyra Sanchez sleeping in the workroom moment.
Oh, it was great. I loved her vocals. Like the notes that she chose to sing for that are not something that I feel like, this is going to sound really pompous and ridiculous, and I apologize. It's not someone who I would assume like an amateur vocalist would just be like choosing that the modality that she sang in. It was just so
was there.
It was there and it was good and it had soul, and then switched to the rap afterwards. And I just thought she just really killed it. She killed everything and really challenged Sasha really well, I thought, in this. She kind of showed her youthfulness too, which I really liked, and especially in the performance, like her dancing. I really got a sense of she's like, I'm a new star, like I'm the new star of a new girl group kind of thing. I got that energy from her, and I really loved watching her.
Oh, this episode was all about her confidence, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much Lux. I actually thought there was a possibility that Lux could have won this challenge just because of how much Lux we were getting and how confident she was, and just like her whole energy, which I know also was part of what she was talking about in the Tic Tac chat lunch thing, which was, you know, she got her confidence from her parents. And if only every kid had those types of role models and parents that really encouraged and just believed in her. We see this with some young queens who have really supportive parents. Look no further than Gigi Good.
Yep.
I think that she's another great example of someone who's very young but has so supportive parents to see what a young kid can do. It's really inspiring, and I think it just goes to show how important having that support network is.
Absolutely.
Also, let's talk about her lurk. So was there like a fit issue a little bit?
It did appear a little baggy, just a little baggy.
Okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who felt that way, because obviously this is stunning. I love the white color on her. It just looks so good. But yeah, there was something about when she was moving around. It just, it felt baggy. So I'm glad, Aman, you felt the same way. It wasn't just in my head.
Looks like it's just going to be like 1.5 sizes too big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just needs a little bit of fitting around the top and around the whole thing, really. But the concept is stunning, and I think that her face looked amazing. So she looks like she's going to go and marry herself, essentially.
I love that idea. I'm not actually that upset with the fit, because I kind of think that that's what she's going for, or at least that's what I got out of it, is that it's supposed to be not 1,000% form fitting. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the material that you're using, the little waist moment that has like the folds on it. Like I just kind of got that sense that it's maybe supposed to look like that. I thought she looked gorgeous. This is the first time I've really looked at her and thought, Oh my gosh, she is young. She looks so beautiful and young in the face, but in this outfit, I mean, it really like it took me back. I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like a teenager right here, like in like a beautiful teenager going to prom or something like that. But I was looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, like she is young. Sometimes,
Like a
Yeah.
child bride.
oh no, not
That's what Beth thought.
don't put those words in my mouth. That's not what I said. But I just really I thought that the whole outfit and everything was gorgeous. Her hair was I love this hair on her. And those earrings, they look like they weigh 1,000 pounds each, and I just loved everything from head to toe.
I think
Yeah,
she
me
said
too.
they did weigh a lot. So that fit
There we are.
track. Well, okay. One other thing I want to say about Lux was when they went through all of her runways, I was reminded about what she brought and how stunning she looked every week. And I do think
Mhm.
that that's something that needs to be mentioned because similarly to Beth, I sort of feel like I also have my top two, but Lux, I think, has just performed well throughout the entire season. She's been pretty much on, except for last week where she stumbled a little bit, and her runways have exemplified that bringing it every week kind of energy.
I think for her archetype, she's definitely one of my favorites because I feel like when it comes to the younger queens, they also are the younger fashion oriented girls. And I feel like she's definitely one of the ones that is a little bit more fashion forward naturally. I mean, we saw it in the design challenge. She knows how to make a garment and she knows what looks good. And like her taste level is there. Not all of the queens that are young fashion girls can say that. Some of their stuff is just sort of made for them, or not to say that they don't have a good eye, they don't have good taste, but can you make these things? And I think that she's one of those girls that has like, she's kind of well-rounded. I think that she's one of the best of the archetype for sure.
She gives me Gigi Good vibes. Like Gigi Good also I put in that same category.
Yep.
1,000%. I honestly think how she gets to the next level with her drag is so much of what we saw on the runway was amazing, but it was clearly referencing either RuPaul or other moments on the show or other looks that we've seen before. And I can't wait for her to kind of, and I love that she was putting her own twist on everything. I think that's great, but I can't wait to see her like have her own style moment thing that is just all Lux. And I think that she's really going to be quite a star.
I think so.
I mean, she already is. I mean, but she's going to be a bigger one.
And she's got that confidence. That's like half the battle.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's switch gears and talk about Sasha, our ultimate winner here, I'm assuming winner of the season based on what we've been talking about and discussing. And this episode, as I mentioned before, really sealed the deal for me. She got the choreo. She had this whole like Pam Anderson in space look for the dancing part. She looked amazing in the close-up sort of window moment. I don't know what to call it when they did their individual verses that just gave me space alien to a T. She understood the assignment. I was very impressed with Sasha this week.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to the girl. I mean, we kind of knew what was going to happen. We all knew. I just think that there really was no way for her to lose because she's so revered within the community and she's been around for quite some time and she's worked her way up. And I liked how she talked about how, because we got a little bit of workroom talk with them and they all went over, their first impressions of each other. And so many of them assumed that she was going to be a bitch. I didn't even really know a lot about Sasha Colby, and not to make this about me, but I just never assumed that. I just felt like she always felt. I don't think there's really. I think that there are people that are very, very, very celebrated and highly revered that are secret. Well, not secret, but like they're actually bitches in real life. But I just never got that vibe from her. She always just felt very like humble and she knows who she is. She obviously knows what her status level is, her popularity level. But it's something that she carries with her. It doesn't make her. It's just a part of who she is. And I think that it's shown a lot through this season as well. I think that she also came into it because we got to hear her talk a little bit in the Tic Tac chat about how she, in the beginning, when she began to win challenges, there was a piece of her that was like, oh, do I need to shrink myself just a little bit so that I can get that quick fix of being liked? And I think that you can sort of see some of that behavior because she's not the narrator of the season, and she very well could be if she wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of has taken a bit of a back seat in terms of some of the team challenges. She's never really been too outspoken a lot of the time. I mean, she'll step in if she needs to, but you could just tell that she wanted to enter this and not swallow up the room. And the fact that she was able to carry that energy and still perform very, very well just speaks to just how much talent she actually has. And it's not all about the status level. It's not about like the, getting starstruck. It's just, she's that girl. She is that girl. And
listen, she is the Leo.
yeah.
And as a fellow Leo, I can just say, we are ruled by the sun. We are the center of the universe, and we have very easily can suck people in. But I agree with you. I honestly think that one of the best things about her is that she knew how to use her star power to not bring other people down, but to lift them up. In how to, like you said, this very easily could have been Sasha Colby's Drag Race, and it kind of was, but we got to enjoy and see other queens that we are rooting for in this competition. It wasn't like a Ben de la Creme All Stars 3. Well, here's an obvious winner from the get-go's winning every single challenge kind of thing. And she did end up winning 4. So let's not pretend she didn't win anything. But I mean, she very easily could have pulled I'm the Sasha Colby trump card all the time. And she never did.
Well, I remember from the very first challenge that they had, she even said, look, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to let the children play. And then when I need to step in and be that mature senior person, I will do that. And I think that that's something that I feel like she did consistently throughout the season, which is I'm not going to make this all about me, which may be part of her people pleasing mentality, that she's not going to have everything focused on me. I mean, think about how many untucks where she said pretty much nothing. I mean, there were obviously Lucy and Mistress having fights while that was going on, but it didn't really feel like it was about her necessarily until it really came to the runways and the judging, right? That was where it feels like it turned into Sasha Colby's Drag Race. And so I think with her TikTok chat talking about the question that Michelle asked, which was, did you struggle at all? And she gave the perfect answer, I thought, which was, I mean, on the challenges, no, I didn't struggle, but I struggled with what was going on internally. I struggled with acceptance. And this is a history, a pattern that I've had since I was young. I just wanted acceptance from my mother. And that's something that's continued throughout and something that she's sort of constantly battling. She says the word we all wanted to hear, or Ru wanted to hear, which is inner saboteur. She brings that up as well. It just felt like the perfect answer. And I know, of course she has so much experience doing things like this, and it just felt like it all came to a head here, and she just executed perfectly.
It's like easy to see how she won Miss Continental.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly correct. It was like the right amount of vulnerability while still having that strength and poise. And it was in the critiques later from the judges where it was like they were preparing. So, the whole, they're a consummate professional, which actually is a bad thing. They were like, well, she's a professional, but like she's better. It's like, but she's like vulnerable and stuff. So it's good. She's not like Rose or Jan,
right?
Or Yellow Jan, or it's
God.
like, it's so.
I feel like. I mean, I've always sort of been the person that is so opposed to tradition or predictable editing and storytelling. Like, I don't want to know who the winner is by week 5. I want this to be anyone's game, and I'm always going to feel that way. And I think that where I struggle just a little bit with Sasha Colby, even with all of the things that I just said, I think even with just like production, I think it was kind of interesting how they had to edit her because clearly she was going to win the season, but at the same time, she didn't give them like, I'm going to be this in your face, make this all about me energy. So it's interesting how she's going to be a winner, but her winner's edit is sort of so much different from others, because for Willow Pill, you could tell that she was the clear rootable underdog, like that was her trajectory. For who won before her? I'm forgetting already.
Simone.
For Simone, she was that legacy queen, comes from good stock, hardly ever in the bottom. If she ends up in the bottom, it's like the most, oh my god thing, is she going to survive thing ever. That was like her winner's path. And then for Jada Essence Hall, I think she's an interesting one, where it's like she could have easily lost to Gigi Good, but there was like a bit of an underdog story there as well. For Sasha Colby, she's not an underdog. She was hardly ever in the bottom, but she also wasn't like a huge personality on the season. She gave it to you in performances, but yeah, it's like, what is like the over? I think we get the answer in this episode. The overarching theme for her is just her own inner battle with herself. Like, how do I navigate being someone that is clearly talented, is clearly a front runner, is clearly someone that has worked hard to get to where I am? How do I do that and still be a good and decent winner to everyone else? And I think that within itself is something interesting that I didn't necessarily give her credit for, or give the storyline credit for in the beginning, because I was just so like, I don't want to be like a march to the end, but it is what it is.
Well, and we say all this, of course, not knowing the winner, just feeling
next week when the mistress wins, and we're like,
right? Yeah,
if that happens, and I have just said all of this stuff.
Wait, okay, no, but like seriously though, if someone other than Sasha wins, my jaw will be on the floor. Like impossible to reattach. I'm a snake devouring a meal, but just out of shock, like the meal of shock. I will be gagged. I can't believe it. And I think that, as we talked about, this was the episode that for me really solidified, yes, okay, fine, because I sort of, like Aman, was fighting that overdog kind of edit and the overdog vibes from Sasha, but I had to give it to her. I felt it. I felt it was right. I feel good and at peace with her ultimate potential win. And this episode totally solidified that for me.
I'll just put it out there, people. We all felt this way in season 9 about Shay.
Oh my God, right?
Remember when Shay clearly won the category is challenge, and we were like, oh my God, she did the Slay Kool-Aid
Maybe
thing.
Trinity would give her a run for her money, and then those two were the first two out.
And then we were like, oh my God. So who knows? Who knows? It could be anybody. But with that said, I do think it's important to kind of sit back and do kind of a gut check, right? If you sit back and say, if Sasha won, I don't think there's anybody who's going to be disappointed in that. I think there's people who are going to be, I mean, I'm sure the contestants will, and the people who like really want Anitra or Mistress or Lux or whatever to win, of course. But I feel like nobody's going to be like, she didn't earn that, right? If she doesn't win, that's the gut check where that's a gag. That's a legitimate gag. And I would not put it past Drag Race to throw a gag out there as like, let's get Sasha back for an All-Stars. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
she's going to win that one.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. She could be the next Shay. But I don't know.
I
think there's also the theory about her just becoming the new RuPaul.
I feel like if she, I think she's probably going to win, but in the event that she doesn't win, I don't think that it's the worst thing in the world. I think it'll definitely be a gag. I think it'll definitely be something that everyone's like, and I think that the show will get backlash, but the show's always getting backlash. I think, but I do think that there is something to be said about sometimes, like, being a winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, while it's still a huge accomplishment, it's not like this career defining thing that it used to be. And so for someone that is already so fairly entrenched and so popular in the community, if anything, being the robbed goddess of season 15 is only going to raise the profile even more. I mean, I don't think that winning RuPaul's Drag Race is really something that is going to set Sasha Colby on this next level. I think it's just, and this is just how people get introduced to Sasha Colby if you didn't already know her. You know what I mean? So if she were to lose, I'd be like, oh wow, I'd be like shocked, but I'd be like, oh well, like you're gonna be good, sis.
Yeah, I don't think that any of the top four are going to suffer in their careers. I think all four of them have first of all, the three who aren't Sasha have proved that they can be at Sasha Colby's level in their own different ways. So I think that they're all going to be great.
For sure. I think that assuming Sasha wins, the other three are in a fantastic position. They'll all be on All-Star seasons. Hands if they want, I think. And it's almost like an easy out because it's like, well, we had Sasha freaking Colby there. Like really? Like I could have won the season, but Sasha Colby was there, right? So you kind of have that out as well. I think it helps with the argument. Briefly before we talk about Mistress, I just want to talk about Sasha's look on the runway because stunning. It was absolutely gorgeous. She looks so good.
I loved her whole story about how the hair itself with the flowers is an homage to her Hawaiian culture. It also kind of is a continuation of the music video to a certain extent of like this kind of like out of the world. I just got like the rings on her arms, like she's the planet kind of thing. I don't know. I just thought it was really gorgeous. One thing I wanted to say about her first that I didn't say is that she kind of gave me Snoop vibes. The way that her voice sounded sounded like Snoop Dogg.
I now that you're saying that, I see that, and I was like wondering what it was about that cadence that was like so familiar to me, and I definitely agree with that.
She had this cool like verse going on with her voice, and I was like, "Damn, yes, it's not what you expect from her." And I just, it was so good. I was getting tingles. I was like, "Oh, Sasha,
I'm definitely into it."
Yeah.
I was into it.
Let's talk about our last queen, Mistress, who I think we at least saw struggle the most in the choreo, which did translate to the edit of the music video. But in her close-ups, once they cropped all that dancing out, then she did very well.
I think they still did her dirty with that because they all had like this ethereal moment where they're floating in anti-gravity. And then,
oh my god, wait. I have that because she tweeted. Okay, wait, hold on. So she tweeted D to the E to the E to the T to the O to the hold up X. I felt so bad. That moment, I laughed. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. They did her so dirty.
Everybody else looks like they're like, so sexy. She's just like, ah! I was trying to rewind it in the moment, forgetting I was watching live TV because I just wanted to watch it over and over and over, and I don't have like cable and like, where I could do that. Oh god, Mistress.
Oh, I laughed so hard. I'm so glad she could laugh about that because I felt horrible for her in the moment, but I was also laughing so hard. Oh boy. Anyway.
I
probably the best moment of her performance.
It was so good.
Oh, it was so good. You know what, that if anything, that helped her in the performance. I do feel bad because I think that the judges, again, this is the positive critique episode. And they were like, no one can sell a lip sync like you. I was like, I was sold by Sasha. I was sold by Lux. I was sold by all of them. And actually, they were like, it's something in your eyes. But then they show her, and her eyes are, even in her lip sync, are just kind of little big and not like connecting to the lyrics. And I think that they were really trying to find something really positive to say about her performance. But I don't think she was like horrible. But I don't necessarily think the positive. Like I would have gone for, I love the energy that you give when you're doing a bitch track. Maybe not how great you were at lip syncing it, because she also messed up her own lip sync at one point. So I was like, what are you doing? But I don't know. I love Mistress. It was tough to see her stumble on this.
She probably had my second favorite of all of the verses in terms of the actual lyrics. So hers were MIB, I'm the MVP, because it makes sense why these girls envy me. Cause I'm a clock the tea and I don't give a tuck. Excuse me, why you mad? Like a bitch from West Bumtuck. But guess what? Yes, I said it and I made it. I'm next in line, Kingdom Mamaru, and if you step out of line, I'm coming for you, or something like that. Anyway, so like I think that she kind of had the next bitchy lyrics, which I would say. But it was so tough. I think in the same thing that Anitra had, which the issue is like her face gave her away.
1,000%.
Getting in her own head and all
I
that.
also had a harder time understanding her lyrics in the song. So there's actually a few in there that I didn't catch that what you just said out loud. I'm like, oh, that's much better than I thought it was. So
Right, exactly.
I distracted because Lux and Trinity are fighting on Twitter.
Wait, what?
Ooh, what?
Breaking news are happening now.
So I think Trinity the Tuck, she tweeted something back on the 25th of March saying like, I really want Mistress, Sasha, or Anitra to win this season. And of course, all the Lux stands came and there's something, but Lux is just now responding. Like as of 21 minutes ago, she said, I'd be rotted too if I wasted all that money to look like ... that. She said, like, I'm sorry, but I really don't do anything yet. I'm always getting dust thrown my way. And all because I said your safe performance was safe like 10 weeks ago? Shit, girl, please. And then wants to preach about unity and peace. Like, girl, shut up and grow up.
I mean, but is she wrong?
I don't think she's wrong here. But I'm y'all know I'm biased against Trinity, so I can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Oh boy, the girls are fighting.
The girls
they are fighting. So who are we talking about, Mistress?
Are fighting. Yes.
Did we talk about her look? I'm so sorry. I just got distracted. I was like, oh my god, what is going
Whatever
on?
you want to talk about. No, we haven't talked about the look. We can pull that up here. Her leopard print, which was in the beating, weighs 60 pounds, and I love the way it looks when she moves. Unfortunately, we don't have a video here, just the still image. But when she moves, like the way the fringe, looks so good.
Yeah, at first when she walked around, I was like, oh, that seems a little muted. And then when we get the close up on it, and then we get her commentary about like it being beaded into the material, I was like, oh my god, like this is extravagant. This is eleganza, baby. I think it's the perfect trace for her. And I love it. I think it just looks absolutely amazing on her, and the way that it shines and sparkles and the way that the fringe moves, just amazing. Love it.
I love this so much. She has just proven time and time again that big girls can be just as fashionable, beautiful, whole 9 yards as anybody else. And she pushes the envelope. She does things that you don't expect, and gorgeous. The only thing I don't like about this is the hair. And the loaf. She looks like Eureka, like with her makeup and this and I'm like, no, I want you to be Mistress. Like, give us like the tiered thing that you do, or some different hair. But I
would have loved like a slicked back ponytail or something.
Oh,
like that.
Could you? That would have been hot, like an Ariana ponytail. Yes.
I don't know. I can't decide if I want something like sleek and elegant to go with the vibe of the dress, or something very animalistic to go with the print of the dress.
Something like a Bianca Del Rio cheetah kind of thing, where she did with a
yes, just like that. Yes, the epitome of fashion, Bianca Del Rio. Yes.
That's one of my other favorite quotes, is when Bob and Brasha are talking in the pit stop.
Yeah.
They're like, if anybody has proven that you can win Drag Race without looking beautiful, and they both say Bianca Del Rio at the same time.
Oh man, yeah.
Mistress is just so seasoned, and what I love the most about her is that she has a way of incorporating old school drag, Southern pageant drag, into really unique and modern and futuristic ways at the same time. I don't know. It's just it's really stunning to see every single week.
Yeah, and she's like she's so funny, and I love how she talks about like she's one of those queens that really is like bringing back the art of shade, and not just being like, it's not like one of these cartoon shades where it's just like, I'm just gonna be mean and call it being shady. Like, no, she knows how to jab, but she knows how to like give it a little bit of like fun. Like she's just fun, and repeatedly said it over and over and over again. So I still hate that she seems to be getting a little bit of venom from the fans. And I'm sure there's a lot of like younger fans that don't quite understand this stuff yet. I get it, but like it's just annoying because like she's actually one of the good ones, y'all. Like leave her alone.
She's a drag queen.
Like
let her be
on.
shady.
Yes. And I think that that's she talks a little bit about this in the TikTok chat as well, which is, look, I'd rather be outspoken than replaying it in my head. I'd rather get it all out in the open. And yeah, did that lead to tension between her and Lucy? Yes, she talks about that. Did that lead to tension between maybe her and some of the other girls? Yes. Well, I think what I noticed about Mistress is that when she is discussing what she's noticing, it's never in a like attack personal. It's not like she's trying to get a specific outcome. She's just saying, hey, I noticed this. Why? Like with Lucy, it's like, why do you, like, I notice you when cameras are off and I notice you when cameras are on. Why are you being different? I just want to know. Like, it never felt like accusatory or anything like that. And even the shade, it was the truth sometimes. It was very outspoken, but it never felt mean. And I think that she is just someone who has a really fantastic communication style. Yeah, it got her into trouble here and there. And there was definitely some moments where, okay, maybe this is a little bit overstepping, but I think that it was fascinating to have her on the show. And I'm so happy that we got to have her personality throughout this entire season.
I'll tell you what, people will come for her and then praise Bianca Del Rio. I'm like, Bianca was way meaner.
Is crazy mean. Like,
yeah, like, sure, she like a lot of us were on her side in season 6, but let's also be real that she was much meaner and like took things much more personally or gave her reads and everything were much more personal than what Mistress does.
And Mistress is like, so like you can like win her over easily too.
Yes,
like, I love
especially if you read her back.
Yeah,
the twins. She hated the twins at the beginning. It took one episode.
And she's already like, oh,
they're my children. Yeah.
I remember people in the bar being like, boo, no, hate them.
No, she was in her mother era with her two new drag daughters. Yeah.
I wonder if she'll be in her winning era next week or 2 weeks from now.
Well, we'll have to see. So we are going to have, as we talked about, the reunion next week, but then the finale afterwards. We're going to have all 4 queens there. I just want to give, so I think what we should do as a family, let's each go around and let's give our head, heart, gut of who we think is going to win. Now, I know we talked a lot about Sasha, but this could be different. And this is tapping into the different elements that we feel. And then I'm going to give the social media updates on where the, Team Sasha, Team Anitra posts are for both Instagram and Twitter. So, Beth, you want to kick us off? Head, heart, gut, who do you think is going to win for each of those categories?
My head and my gut are on the same page, which is Sasha, but my heart is Anitra.
Okay. Aman, what about you?
My head obviously is saying Sasha. My heart, interestingly enough, because I really haven't been rooting for her that much this season, is probably now it's Lux. This episode for me really, I felt like I really began to see who she is, and I related so much to the things that she was telling herself as a kid. Something that really stuck with me was just how much she talked about, like, people are always going to tell you that you're not worth it, or that people that look like you aren't beautiful, or they can't achieve these things or be. And I don't know, it just really, really stuck with me because I felt like for a long time, I felt the same way growing up. I felt like I had to like find something else that was interesting because the package that I was presented in wasn't valuable. And for her parents to instill that in her, I don't know, I think about like where I would be, or people that are older than me, where they would be if they had that same, like, not to say that my parents were, they were fantastic parents, but think, as time moves on, things get a little better, things progress. And I feel like if I were born just like maybe like 10 years later, even 5 years later, where would I be? You know what I mean? So I just that really made me want Lux to take this home, because it just really touched me. My gut is saying, I mean, I feel like I kind of can't tell the difference between head and gut, so I feel like I want to say something. But for the sake of having three different answers, I love Mistress, and I've always been rooting for Mistress. And I know that Anitra, I've been rooting for Anitra too, but like, I don't know. Mistress has just been such a fun time on the show, and I really just would like to see that rewarded.
Yeah. So I think, oh my gosh, Aman, you almost converted me. I almost changed my answer, but I do think I'm probably along the same lines as Beth. I think my head logic, everything in my little tiny science brain is telling me Sasha. Everything in my gut, my feeling is going with Sasha. I just really think that she's going to be the winner if I'm trusting my gut feeling. But my little heart, it really wants Anitra to win, and I know it's not going to happen, and I'm like mentally preparing for it. But I think Anitra is so funny. She is someone who I've just been so happy to get to know, and she's somebody who I absolutely, my heart would love for her to win. But I'm also mentally preparing for her to come back on an all-star season, and that's fine with me too.
When she wins.
Yeah, oh God, no.
I think, just the head portion for Sasha is not so much looking at track record and all that other stuff. That my gut is the thing that's like, I intuitively think that. My head is more like, what do the producers want out of a finale? And if they can get an Anitra versus Sasha lip sync for the crown, I think they're going to do that. I think I'm looking at a production standpoint of this. And I think that Anitra has lip synced more often and has lost to Sasha. And I think that that's where my head is going for this.
Yeah, I could see that or Lux. Essentially what I'm trying to decide is who do I think Sasha could be up against. So, in terms of the format of the finale, we don't know.
Right.
I would assume, since we've already sort of had a lip sync Lollapalooza, that's probably not going to happen. So we're going to have the individual performances and then either a straight up winner based on whatever their chosen performance is, or some type of top two and then a lip sync after that. And I think, to me, it's probably between Lux and Sasha or Anitra and Sasha is what I'm thinking in terms of that finale performance. Although I will say, and let's discuss the lip sync this week, actually, because I realized we forgot to do that. So we do have, normally this is just a let's celebrate everybody, but we did end up getting some critiques in this episode because we did have a lip sync with a, fake out potentially for a top three with Mistress versus Anitra. And the song choice I thought was interesting. So when Love Takes Over, I kind of thought Mistress won.
Oh, I thought Anitra won.
Really?
Yeah.
When Anitra started to take the bottom of her outfit off, I was like, no, stop. Like, I want something else from you. I want to see you just stand and just embody it, because she can do that. She still has that in her repertoire. She also then does all of the dips and dives and tricks and twists. But I kind of wanted to see her have to be confined, so I was happy she was in a gown. And then she had to take it off. I was like, no.
I was like, no, you're gonna win.
Put it back on.
I like you to keep it on, please.
I thought that she did stand and sing and give that emotion in the beginning way stronger than what Mistress did, to me at least. And then she built up to that rather than just coming out with dips and tricks from the get-go. And I think that that's what she's kind of learned, is like, she has to give levels, she has to have a crescendo, she has to have that. And I think that that's what she did so well in this lip sync. And I didn't get levels from Mistress. I just got, and it's hard when you have a 60-pound dress on, so I don't blame Mistress, but I have not necessarily been the biggest Mistress lip sync fan in terms of how she lip syncs with her face. I wasn't the biggest fan in the Rusical or in the other times that she's lip synced. So it just could be a personal preference on my part. And I totally understand that. But I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're about to say goodbye to Mistress. And then they were like, okay, now you're both staying. I was like, okay, I'm fine with that.
From the episode, I thought there was a possibility Mistress was going to go home.
Yeah,
I thought that was a possibility.
Sure. She performed the worst. I feel like I remember at the end of the lip sync. I don't know if I agree that Mistress won, but I definitely remember feeling like Anitra didn't blow her out of the water like the way that Anitra's blown some of these other girls out of the water. So I think she definitely I think she's very talented, like with the facial expressions that she has with lip syncing, whereas Anitra is more, expressive with her body. So I guess, it's about the song choice. And when they announced that song, I was like, a dancing song, really? When she's in that fucking dress, like. So I think that I'm fine with the double Shantae only because I love Mistress, but I wish that they would have chosen a better song so that Anitra didn't have the potential to take her all the way down. Like, because then you have another situation where it's like Monet clearly beat Jinx, but they're just gonna give it to Jinx. So I don't like that stuff.
I wish they would just go back to doing ballads at the top 4 or a RuPaul song. Like, do one of those two things. I don't know. I love When Love Takes Over. Don't get me wrong. Love that as a song. But I really wish that it was saved for a time where it wasn't like, who goes to the finale? I just feel like a ballad is so different, changes the pace, and it's much more about emoting. And especially when you know that they're probably going to be wearing outfits that they're heavier and not suited to lip sync in. Like, have a, what do they call it in theater? A park and bark.
Yep.
Have one of those songs,
Well, they both stay. And we do get a little bit of tease of this when which was so funny, after the critiques, RuPaul, and again, I wrote it down because I thought this was important. I promised myself to have an elimination every episode, but I'm debating. I was like, okay, that makes sense where all of the, all the eliminations came from as a critique, of course, from last season. Sure,
which I'm fine with. I actually think this season was much better because of it.
I 100% agree.
Exactly.
No chocolate, but
I do love that kept coming up with Sasha in this episode too. She's like, I get my gold bar, not chocolate.
Not chocolate. All right, let's do a check-in with social media. So do you guys have any predictions? I don't know if you've been looking at this of who you think has the most
I think I do know who's
media.
in the lead, so I won't give my predictions. So
Aman, do you have any thoughts you want to give?
I have not been looking at social media, but I don't think it's I'm pretty sure we know who's in the lead. I'm going to say Sasha's in the lead, followed by, I'm kind of torn between Lux or Anitra. But I think because now Anitra has 3 wins, people are probably more on her side. So Anitra, then Lux, then Mistress.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a surprise to me because when I first saw the socials go out, Sasha was ahead, but Anitra and Sasha are actually pretty much neck and neck. So on Twitter, Sasha has 39.6 thousand likes, Anitra has 41.8, so very close, and Instagram is the same, 180 and 170,000 for the two of them. In third place is actually Mistress. On both Twitter and Instagram, and then on last place is Lux. And I think that part of that probably is because Lux is so young and people feel, I mean, I don't know if they feel like, oh, she'll be fine. She'll go on an all-star season and do her thing there. Not that she's not a worthy performer. I don't think it's like a dislike for Lux necessarily. I think it's just a timing thing, if I had to predict.
I also think it's important to note that at the time of us recording this podcast, the finale was recorded last night.
It was.
So I'm interested to see how, if any, like how this weighs into that.
Which I have no idea. Thank goodness.
Yeah, same.
If you do
know, please do not tell me.
Yes.
I don't want to know.
Yes, I don't want to know either. I want to be surprised on finale night when all of that happens. Well, is there anything else from this episode? There was a little bit of discussion of the season of gates, Hairgate, Babygate, Lux being the gatekeeper. She was involved in every single gate that we got.
Baby Bum Gate will always be especially egregious, and Lux has to pay, or Lucy has to pay for her crimes, as far as I'm concerned.
Baby Bump Gate, incredible.
Side eye. Okay. As we talked about at the beginning of this episode, we're going to have the reunion next week. So if you do not see a podcast from us, do not worry. We are going to be recording our thoughts on the reunion. We're going to try to do it where we actually record our thoughts on the reunion when it happens before the actual finale. And then we're going to release all of it together in one due to scheduling and all of that. So not a podcast next week, but definitely a podcast for the finale. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Although I do feel like the writing's on the wall in terms of the winner, I'm still really stoked and pumped for the finale, which is surprising. I thought I would be like, well, it's not going to be March in the end, blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm here for it. And I really can't wait to see what the girls put together, because these are performers. And I think that whatever they bring to the finale is going to be stellar. And I want to see these queens, these top tier queens, be themselves and just execute.
I also cannot wait for the reunion, because some of these girls, I think, have some things to discuss.
So.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see Sugar and Spice again. That's going to be fun.
I went through, and today somebody had put together on TikTok. It was all the
exit lines,
all the exit lines of all the girls. I watched it. And I definitely forgot about a couple of these queens.
Okay, Robin though, even her exit line was like boring.
I know.
Yeah, Poppy. I was like, who are you?
They have on the subreddit, the RuPaul's Drag Race subreddit, they have all of the queens' pictures, like their promo looks. And I was like, who is that? Oh, Amethyst. Yes. Actually, Amethyst's line was actually pretty funny. So I'm gonna give her props on that one.
Give her roses for that one.
We're gonna see all the queens back together again, reunioning it up, and then of course, as we talked about, the finale. So let's close things out for today. Aman, where can people find you on social media, and what do you have going on?
You can find me everywhere at Aman Adwin, and you can find me struggling with how I would like to engage with Big Brother Canada 11.
Oh boy.
Wait, people are engaging with that? No.
Bruh. Yeah. Well, speaking of Big Brother Canada, Puya and I, with Kevin Jacobs, Taryn, and of course a fabulous cameo from the one and the only Taylor, discuss everything from the Thursday chaos episode. So if you are in the Big Brother Canada sphere, you know what a mess of a time we are having.
Yeah,
my timeline is telling me everything. That's how I'm keeping up, and
that's amazing.
I'm like, oh wow, and I'm loving it. I like the drama from Twitter. I think is more engaging than from what I've seen the TV show. So
it's wild. Well, keeping up with Beth, though, how would we do that?
Well, if you want me to be a part of your timeline, you can follow me at AugustaWind11. Considering that we're not recording next week, I will just say, if you were in the New York City area and would like something to do on Monday, April 17th, I'm going to be performing as a part of a choir at Lincoln Center under the direction of Eric Whitaker, who is the composer who wrote all the music, and he's just incredible. So if you want to have a whole range of emotions from comedy to literally crying, feel free to join us at Lincoln Center on Monday, the 17th.
Yes, love that. So excited for you.
Thank you.
On my end, as I mentioned, the BB Can stuff, we are going strong with our Masked Singer coverage, which has been really fun. We're already in group 3. The season is flying by. It's been really fun. Puya and I are covering all of that. And then Mike Bloom and I, of course, are doing everything for the Survivor BNB. We have a fabulous game this week that I have prepared. I couldn't decide what game I wanted to do, so I did all of them. It is 3 games in one, a grab bag, a fantastic display of essentially everything that happened in this episode, which I thought was absolutely fun on Survivor Season 44. And you can find me on social media at Liana RHAP on Twitter. Okay, that does it. Again, no podcast next week, okay? So don't be in our mentions being like, where's the podcast? Okay, we told you, no podcast next week, podcast the week after, all right? We're all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. And we're all going to watch.
Wait, is there going to be a podcast next week?
Oh my God, Beth, thank you for bringing it up. No, this is like us in the shoes. Just mention the shoes. Okay. You can leave your star ratings and reviews for us on iTunes. Rob has a website.com/drag race. Thank you to the whole RHAP team for all of their help behind the scenes. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.